Hello. Hi. So we're going to be doing a live last-minute TOEFL prep lesson for the speaking section. And specifically, we're going to be working on type 1 and type 2 questions. So I've got about 5 practice questions for type 1 and 5 practice questions for type 2. Those are coming directly from ETS. So these are authentic questions that have appeared on previous tests. And we're also going to be using a voice recording tool called SpeakPipe voice recorder. This is a tool that I've been using with lots of students so that they can practice questions during like the time between lessons so that they can share links with me. The recorder includes a timer. So as soon as you get started making a recording, you can see that you've spoken for about 45 seconds and you can click stop. And then when you upload that, it will it'll go to a server and then it will give you a link to your recording. So I'm just realizing right now that we're starting that YouTube comments, I'm not sure if they allow links. So I'm going to see if we can do another option so that you can share your links with me. So give me 1 second. I'm going to make this Google document that I'm using. I'm going to make it so that you guys can paste your links directly on the Google document. Okay, so just 1 second here. Okay, and I'm gonna switch this to edit instead of view. That way you can directly paste your recordings and we can see them there. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on over here on the on YouTube, see if I can see your comments, because I see a couple of people joining us and viewing. So hello, welcome. I think the comment bar should be available. I'm going to just test this, make sure I can see your comments on there. So I'm going to be loading it on my phone as well, but I'm also going to be checking this out in a different tab here. I'm going to probably just test my sound as well, make sure you can hear me as well. So yeah, if you are taking the test tomorrow on June 24th, please let me know, and also let me know what your target scores are, especially in the speaking section. So, okay, so for those of you who may not know me, my name is Jonathan, and I am an English teacher. I am from Southern California. However, I have not been living in the US since 2002, so there's about 15 years now that I've lived and taught outside of the US. I lived in Paris for 6 years in the early 2000s, and then these last 8 years, I have been living and teaching in Mexico City. And for a little bit over a year and a half now, I've been specifically teaching via Skype and online and with my website. And also I've partnered with Marina Mogilko and LinguaTrip. So I have a lot of international students, especially TOEFL prep students who have been teaching from around the world. Those are students from Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, Brazil, parts of Europe like France, Germany, Italy. Where else? There's lots of students from just all over the world, and some of them are living in different places. Some of them are even living in the US and have been living there, studying there. And surprisingly, sometimes they need extra speaking practice via Skype just because they may not necessarily be getting enough interaction with native speakers. So also a little bit about me. I learn a lot of foreign languages. So Paris, and I've lived in Mexico City. I speak French and Spanish. I've been learning those for the last over 20 years now. I started that when I was in high school, and then I really started loving teaching English to French speakers, Spanish speakers, and recently students from around the world. So I do have a love of learning foreign languages and helping people learn them. And I recognize students' difficulties with learning a foreign language in terms of grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, getting extra speaking practice, just learning the best strategies you can to get your listening practice, reading comprehension, writing practice. So I've gone through all of those stages of learning, and I recognize also for exam prep the difficulties and test anxiety. I recently took the test, the TOEFL, a few months ago in February, and I was able to score a 117 out of 120. So I'm gonna, yeah, I can see that the live chat is available here. Feel free to leave a message here. I can see that. I'm seeing your messages, and so let me know where you are from, and if you are taking the test tomorrow, please let me know. I'll be happy to help you with this. So the idea with this lesson is we're going to be using this SpeakPipe voice recorder, and that is a free, easy to use recording tool that's online. You don't need to install anything. It just takes access to the microphone on your computer or your cell phone or on your webcam, and you make a recording, and then you can get a link to that recording, and then from there I can listen to it live, and I can give you the feedback in this live video right now. So I'm going to give you also access to the Google document that where the lessons are going to be hosted. Let me see if the YouTube chat will allow me to paste this. So just one second here, because I can see there. And okay, so let me just see if I can paste this. So this is a Google Doc with the questions where you can type as well. Paste. So it looks like I can paste the link. Oh, okay. So that's possible. It looks like you can paste that link. And okay, so I'm going to also paste, in that case, if that link works, I'm going to also paste the link to the SpeakPipe voice recorder so that you can start using that. And I'm going to do a screen share here in a second so you can see how this works. So let me just go over here. So this is the SpeakPipe voice recorder. There you go. Okay, so you have those two links. Those are the main links we're going to be using today, the SpeakPipe voice recorder and the link to this Google document. So you can go directly over to that Google document. I can see somebody is already over here. So right now, if you can, don't edit the questions themselves, but below here, I can write, you can paste your recording links here or on YouTube. So after each question, you can paste your link there. So, okay, yeah, I can see a couple of you joining. That's great. So let me just show how the link for the SpeakPipe voice recorder works. That way you can see how you use it. And then we're going to start practicing with these type 1 and type 2 questions. And then I can hear you and give you the feedback on your speaking. So let me just do the screen share here. I'm going to do this as, where is it? Okay, yeah, just 1 second there. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay, let me share there. So it looks like I can just let me know a comment if you can see my screen. I would appreciate that. I'm also checking on my phone to see that, but I think you can see my screen now. So if I use the recorder here, it's like about 5 steps. So the first one is click start the recording. So I'll do that. I'll say test 1, 2, 3. And as you can see, there's a timer here. So when it gets to 45 seconds, I'll click stop. Then the next step is save on server. I'll do that. I can put my name if I want, or I can just leave it blank. Right now, I'll just leave it blank. I'll click save to load this on the server. Don't worry, it's very difficult to find these audio files. So, okay, there. Yeah, you can see my screen and I can hear that. Okay, so that's loading. It'll just take a second. My internet connection might be a little slow today. I'm not sure why. So this is loading. And sometimes it can take a little bit while. And then, okay, that happens sometimes with the connection, unfortunately. So I'm going to try this one more time. That is a potential problem sometimes. Hopefully your internet connection is a little bit better than mine right now. So that's, it's going to do start sending again. By the way, if you know of any other voice recorders that are online and simple to use, feel free to let me know. I know there are other options like SoundCloud. I think there's online voice recorder. I've heard of Vocaroo. There's, I think, Voice Spice. I've tried those ones. In general, I think the SpeakPipe one has been one of the easier ones to use when it works. So here, I think it's just internet connection. Okay, here it is. So here it says your recording has been saved on the server. Now the next thing is I want to take this link here. Right now it looks like it's cut off because there should be 16 alphanumeric characters. So here there's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is cut off. So you want to make sure that when you highlight this, I get the whole entire link. So I get that whole link that's complete. And here I can copy this and go into, let's say, I can go over here to the YouTube chat and I can paste this. So hi, I can see a comment from Sandeep. Hello. So here is the sample SpeakPipe voice recording link that I just made. And I'll put that there, and there it is. So you can click on that. Oh, hi, Estella. Yeah, you're a teacher from Argentina. So yeah, I've seen you in a couple different places online. So nice to hear from you. So okay, so I'm gonna go back over. I know you can see me over on YouTube now. So I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. Or now, I guess what I'm gonna do is go over and share the screen for the speaking questions. So now that you have the link there for SpeakPipe and you've seen how you can use it, so the step 1 is start recording, then the step 2 is click stop, then step 3 is save on server. Then you can add your name if you want, that's fine. Otherwise, you can just click save. And then finally, you copy the entire link, make sure it's complete, the entire link for your recording. Okay, so the first question that we have here is describe a place you would like to visit and explain why you choose this location. So use details and examples to support your position. So that's the question there. Describe a place you would like to visit and explain why you choose this location. So use details and examples to support your position. So if there are any recordings below here, that would be great. I would love to listen to your recordings. Go ahead and make a recording, and I will be happy to listen to that. We can all listen to this live and give you that feedback. So I am just trying to see if I can see the notes, the comments while I'm on the cell phone. Here, version, okay. Because I can see the comments on my computer, but not necessarily on the cell phone. If you, where can I find that? Oh, I think I have to look at the desktop version of this so I can see your comments. Just 1 second here. Okay, are there any links? So feel free to copy your link there. I know you guys have access to the Google document, so I can see a couple of people joining there. So feel free to leave your link there so I can listen to your recordings and give you that feedback. Otherwise, I'm going to go through one of these speaking questions, and I'll show you a little bit for my brainstorming. So I know that I would just have, in general, 15 seconds. So the first thing I would probably do here is say, okay, a place that I would like to visit. Now, I'll give you kind of a little bit of a hack in terms of cheating slightly here on this speaking question. Like if you answer this somewhat honestly and you say, oh, I've never been to that place, where's a place that I would like to visit in the future? Well, if you want to kind of supercharge your answer, pick a place that you have already been to before. So by doing that, you're going to kind of give yourself an unfair advantage that you know what there is to do there, you know what there is to see, you know what's popular, you know what some of the tourist attractions are, or you know something that would be there. Because if you actually honestly answer this question in terms of where you would like to go, like a place that you've never been to before, there's a risk that after 5-10 seconds, you might run out of ideas if you really don't know what there is to visit in that place. So I would take, for example, because I lived in Paris for 6 years, I will just make this easy on myself. And I'm going to say, I would love to visit Paris. So if I'm going to talk about Paris, I'm going to think of, okay, there's Eiffel Tower. There's the Arc de Triomphe. There's the Louvre. What else there? There is the Champs-Élysées. And those are a couple places that I could go. What are some other activities I could think of? Well, I could go eat at a restaurant. I could do a walking tour. There's the Latin Quarter, and a couple of those things. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to probably, because that's 15 seconds or so already. So now I'm going to give my answer. So, okay. One of the places that I would really like to visit is Paris, the capital of France. Now, one of the reasons why I really love to go there is because I have been studying French for several years, and it would be a great opportunity to go practice my French and see some of the tourist sites like the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, the Louvre, walk along the Champs-Élysées and walk around the Latin Quarter. And another reason why I would really love to go to Paris is that the restaurants are, and the French food is really good. And I would really love to get a chance to eat authentic French cuisine directly in Paris. So a few reasons why I would love to go visit Paris. So unfortunately there, I wasn't timing myself. I don't have a timer around here I can take a look at. I'll have to get this on another device here. And so I'm looking at some of the comments here. So I see, okay, so here I see Ravi Ravati Chowdhury. So hi, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. There's Dist Lifo, hello everyone, so hi. And again, some comments here from Estella. So yeah, SpeakPipe has been very useful. And yes, also thank you for mentioning the speaking challenge that I've been organizing. Don't worry about finishing it. It's an opportunity to get some extra speaking practice on a daily basis. Thank you for bringing that up, because I would like to mention that to people here. I'll post some links to that as well. There's going to be another speaking challenge coming up in the month of July, and I'll give you some information about that while we continue with these speaking practice questions. So let me see if I have a timer, perhaps on another device. So give me 1 second here. Let's see if there are any recordings. So please feel free to leave a link to a recording. So yes, there's a question here from Shiva. So hi, should we paste the link here? Yes, you can paste the link directly on the YouTube live chat. Hopefully that works. I mean, it has worked for me as the host of the video. I'm not sure if it also works as a guest, as a viewer. So if you can try that, that would be good to see. Otherwise, you can scroll up and there's access to the Google document where you can view these questions. And then you can paste that and I can listen to it and give you that feedback. So here once again is this: describe a place you would like to visit, explain why you choose this location, use details and examples to support your position. I'm going to go find another device, a tablet, where I can put a timer, and that will give us a little bit better, a better view of what 45 seconds feels like and what the 15 seconds feels like. Just 1 second. Okay, I am back here. So let's see, is there a link so far? Don't see any links yet, but otherwise we will keep going. Let me find this alarm. Okay, so yes, so let me know if you can paste a link there, and I will be happy to listen to yours. Okay, so let's do, and I have a timer now on my tablet. Unfortunately, you can't see it, but okay. So I'll move on to another question here. And again, if you have direct access to the Google document, then you can also see these questions directly on the Google document, or you can see them on my screen as I'm talking. Okay, so. Okay, so this next question, and I'm going to give myself just kind of 15 seconds to prepare this. And this is: talk about a person in your life who has inspired you. Describe the person and explain why you found him or her inspirational. Okay, so that question, I would say, okay, give myself 15 seconds. Okay, I'm going to say maybe Barack Obama. He has talked about education, technology, and been a leader. Okay, so now that's 50 seconds. That's all I could really come up with there of 3 topics that I could think about. Now I've got myself 45 seconds to talk, and I'm going to say, here, let's go. Okay. One of the most inspirational people that I can think of is the former President Barack Obama. One of the first reasons that I would say that he's inspirational is that he has been he has valued the importance of education, and he has made that a priority. He made that a priority when he was president, so that children could learn about technology. He has also been a very good leader around the world to help promote American values and making America an important nation around the world. So those are a few reasons why I would say Barack Obama has been very inspirational for me. Okay, so this is a good practice for me as well. I need to keep working on these questions. So I do recognize that it can be a little bit of a challenge to come up with the ideas, come up with the phrases. In general, I would say that these words that I've used in the brainstorming are not necessarily complete. So as a concept, they are a bit vague. So I think I need to add another detail. So I would say, let's say something like green technology. That's something that he's been known for promoting. He's also not just a leader of the United States. I would say, okay, he's a great, I don't know, a world leader. Education, maybe he has promoted, I know, equal education. I think he has promoted a lot of equality. So a good step in your brainstorming techniques is not just to mention the not just mention the topic or the reason, but try to give some like little adjective to describe it. That way you can get a little bit more specific and a little bit more detailed with your answer. Okay, so let me see if there are any more comments here. So we've got still don't yet see links. So let me scroll up here. Yeah, I don't yet see other people's links for this. Okay, so yeah, don't be shy. Feel free to paste one of your links for your recording. That way I can hear you speak about this and give you that feedback live. And also feel free to contact me on social media. I will leave some of the comments here on social media. You can find me as well and leave after we finish this YouTube. You can post a link underneath this video, or you can also come find me on Facebook. The page is Huggins International. Huggins, that's Huggins, and then International. And you can also find there. Okay, so I see a number from Rar. Okay, apparently that doesn't look like it's a link. So Ravi Ravathi, if you can try pasting your link again with the HTTPS, so I can see that. That way, if you're trying to paste a link for there, so I can listen to your recording. Okay. So, okay. Well, let's keep going. Let's keep going and practicing a couple more of these questions. And let me see here. Okay. So okay. SpeakPipe number, Jonathan, sorry, I can't find the link. It should be a little bit below where it says, it gives you the link. Yes, unfortunately, that number won't be enough. It should be towards the bottom of the page. Okay. But I appreciate you making the effort to make the recording. It's see if we can find that link so you can share that, and I can give you the feedback on your speaking. So, okay. And don't worry, after this video is over, you can still share a couple of these recordings with me, and I will be happy to give you that feedback. Okay, so let's keep going here. Okay, so next on here, if you had an entire month to do whatever you would like to do. Okay, so I'm going to put 15 seconds here, and I'm going to try to brainstorm here. So 15 seconds. Okay, so a month. So I'll put, okay, travel, travel, okay, US, road trip, New York to LA. I can't type. Yeah, okay, so that's it. Okay, so that's as much as I could get for 15 seconds, just to give myself a little bit of a story, and trying to be very specific as possible, because if I just put travel and I don't give myself a very specific idea, it's going to be difficult to develop. I'll get stuck in generalities. I'll get stuck with general statements, and it will not really be well developed, because they really want you to talk about specific details, specific examples to support your answer. So, okay, so here is 45 seconds on the clock. Okay. If I had an entire month to do whatever I'd like to do, I would travel around the US. And I think it would be a great opportunity to do a road trip from New York to Los Angeles. So there are many states that I have not yet been to, and I think it would be a great opportunity to visit family and friends who could show me around a couple of places. For example, I haven't yet been to Tennessee. It would be a great opportunity to see Nashville. There are a couple other states that I have not yet seen, like in Louisiana or Mississippi or Alabama, and it would be a great opportunity to visit those places, because I think they have a lot of great Southern culture, and that's why I would love to do a road trip from Los Angeles to New York. Okay, so now that I'm thinking about it, if I look at a map, New York to Los Angeles via the southern states is maybe a bit strange. So maybe it would be kind of drive across from New York to Chicago and then down through the Midwest. But hey, if I have an entire month, why not? I could kind of figure this out in another way. But anyway, the TOEFL examiners, they're not going to be judging you on the quality of, like, does your story kind of make logical sense? It's a sample of your speaking. So I mean, in hindsight, you can always look at your answer and go, oh, I could have done that better. I mean, all of these answers, you could have done it better. The idea is not to get overly worked up or stressed out or demotivated or discouraged about not having the perfect answer, because there is no such thing as a perfect answer. Everybody who does this, even myself, you can hear me like struggling with 15 seconds and 45 seconds of going through my phrases, going through the template, going through the details, trying to develop this answer as best as I can. It can be a struggle to kind of think quickly, speak quickly, sound coherent, be aware of your pronunciation, be aware of your grammar, using a variety of phrases. I think the most important thing is to kind of use easy to follow sentences, develop a little bit of an anecdote that you can follow, that makes sense, that has reasons that make sense. And for that purpose, I would say that, I mean, there is no perfect answer. So don't stop yourself by thinking, oh, I need a perfect answer. Just practice this, do it over, do it again, until you get better at it, until like your brainstorming gets easier, your reasons come out a little bit more automatically. Just keep focusing on specific details, specific reasons. That's where you can really develop your answer. If you get stuck with general details, it can be a little frustrating in terms of the development. Okay, so I still see here, yeah, I still don't yet see some links, but okay, yeah, I still don't see some links. Okay, let's move on to another one here. Okay, would you find it difficult if your cell phone was taken away from you for a month? So provide details and examples to support your answer. Okay, I'm going to put 15 seconds here. and I'll go. Okay. Oh, actually, this time I'll say no, because I have a laptop and I stay at home and have the internet connection. Okay, so that's about it. Okay, so I've got 45 seconds. Let's go. Okay, so actually, I would not necessarily find it difficult if my cell phone was taken away from me for a month. One of the reasons why I would say that is that I work from home, I teach online, and so I do not necessarily need my cell phone to be connected. For example, I have a laptop and it has a good internet connection, and there's also a landline telephone in my house. So if I need to, I can contact people on my computer with my email. I can use the landline to make phone calls, and I have Skype to make international calls online. So I do not necessarily need my cell phone with me in order to stay connected with friends and family and students. Okay, so I think I had some good reasons there to say that I'm not fully dependent on my cell phone for communication, because I work at home and because I have a laptop and because the laptop has an internet connection and because I also have a landline, so I can make phone calls and I have access to Skype. So I am fairly well connected at home with my laptop, and I don't necessarily need the cell phone there. Okay, so yeah, I'd be happy to hear you with your answers. So right now, I don't yet see these links, but if you want to provide one, please do so. I'll be happy to listen to it and give you the feedback. And okay, let's keep going. So there is that one. So yeah, give yourself a lot of reasons, a lot of details that support your opinion for this. Okay, next, another question here. Okay, what do you miss the most about your home when you are away? Use specific details in your explanation. So, okay. I am now going to do this for 15 seconds. So, home. So I think in terms of home, I think of the US. I think this is in terms of California, I would say my family, friends, and maybe some food, maybe home food. My mom's food, but I'll say my mom's food. Okay. So that's slightly, just another second there for that. So, okay, let me give myself 45 seconds on the clock, and I will go. Okay. One of the things that I miss most about my home when I'm away in terms of living abroad, because I've been living abroad for the last 15 years. I grew up in California, Southern California, and I would definitely say that I miss my family and my friends the most. Those are people that I unfortunately do not see on a regular basis, so I miss them quite a lot, and I get a little homesick from time to time, especially because I can't eat my mom's food. She's a really good cook, and I love a couple things that she's made for Thanksgiving dinner, and some desserts like turkey and stuffing and the pumpkin pie. Okay, so I got a little stuck there at the end because the topic of my mom's food was not specific enough. So I should have been more specific and not just stay vague with, I probably should have given myself a detail like pumpkin pie or her banana bread, which is really, really good. So if I had a specific detail, that's where I could have not been hesitating or improvising so much, because I started to mention dessert, and then I started mentioning food for Thanksgiving, like turkey and stuffing, and then I got to pumpkin pie. But that took me a second. So I was kind of having to improvise there for a little bit, but I was kind of going through this story of being from California, being from Southern California, living abroad. So when I think of home in terms of the US, where I'm from, where I grew up, I would refer to that as Southern California. One thing that I tried to do in here was use some synonyms or some similar expressions. So like I miss home, and there's an expression called being homesick. So homesick, that's an expression that refers to missing your family, missing your friends, missing where you grew up. And so that's a concept that would probably be appropriate in this answer about homesickness. For some people, it could just be when you travel for a few weeks, or when you are, I don't know, away at the university for a year or two. That could be a situation where you might miss your home. Okay. So I still yet don't see comments with the links. So please try to do so if you can. I know we have a couple people still here watching and listening, and that's great. Okay, so I appreciate you guys listening. Feel free to leave comments still. If another option is if the voice pipe is not SpeakPipe voice recorder is not working for you, you can go ahead and type your answer. What would you say in those 45 seconds? You can type that as a comment here on the YouTube chat, or you can leave that as a comment on here. So I still don't see comments or links on the Google document or on the YouTube chat. Okay, so let's move on to a type 2. So a type 2 question, this asks you to choose between two options, or to maybe give an opinion on one of those, whether you agree or disagree with a statement, or whether you prefer this or that. So this is a little easier actually than the type 1 question, because in the type 1, you need to figure out, of these personal experiences that you've had, or events or people or things or objects, which one you prefer or which one you like the most, or in coming up with those reasons. It can be a little frustrating to kind of choose one, pick one, and then explain it. But with type 2, you just basically have two options. Okay, so I'm going to look at this question here, and I'll give myself, again, 15 seconds to think about this. So, okay, many universities now offer academic courses over the internet. However, some people still prefer learning in traditional classrooms. Which do you think is better? Explain why. Okay, I'm a little biased because I'm an online teacher, but okay, 15 seconds. So I will say online. You can get international support from teachers. There's lots of resources, videos. Okay, so I'll get that. That was just 15 seconds. Now I will give myself 45 seconds here. Okay, so I know that many universities offer traditional classroom courses for students, but I think there's a lot more potential with academic courses that are provided over the internet. This allows students from around the world to access some of the best professors that are from some of the leading universities, and to have access to their courses, their teaching, and get insights from that. I think there are lots of web platforms like Coursera, edX, and there's lots of material on YouTube as well, where students can review those videos and learn from those teachers in an effective way. Okay, so that's some of the ideas that I could think of there for supporting online education, and talking about some of the MOOCs, like the massive open online courses that you can find on edX, Coursera. I know I'm missing another one like Future Learn. There's lots of platforms that are developing for those courses. I should definitely mention Teachable, but that's usually not necessarily a MOOC. There's usually like private teachers who set up their courses. Speaking of Teachable, for example, I'm preparing a TOEFL speaking course on Teachable. and I'm working on that feverishly right now in the month of June, and hopefully that course is going to go live and be finished soon, so I can publish it and share it with everybody in July. We've had a couple people sign up for the kind of early bird access to that course, and I have been developing it, and it's going through a lot of these strategies and topics that I've been mentioning here today in terms of building like some of your confidence with your speaking, working on pronunciation, grammar, kind of calming yourself down a little bit with your practice. Okay, so here's a question here from Marcella. So how bad is it if my last sentence is cut in the middle? Okay, so that's a good question, and a lot of times that comes up in these TOEFL prep speaking preparations. So the examiners, they are aware that your speaking is it's a sample of how you would speak, and so these 45-second, 60-second answers, they're very short. It's just to give an idea of your speaking. And overall, if your answer is somewhat fully developed, if you have given yourself like a topic sentence and you've started to give yourself appropriate reasons, and you give a lot of details and a lot of support for your point of view or for your opinion, then it's not going to be the end of the world if you get cut off. That's not necessarily going to take points away, provided that your answer feels somewhat fully developed. Have you gone in depth into this topic, and have you provided enough support? So if this means that you end up getting like, and that's why I would, they can kind of, and you get cut off at that point, that's why they can kind of anticipate what you are trying to say there. They can anticipate that, okay, you were just wrapping this up, you were giving a final sentence. In that final sentence, if you're keeping an eye on the clock, you can probably sneak that in the last like 3 or 4 seconds. So it's really important that in your preparations that you're also preparing a couple of these last sentences, just so you can kind of get them to roll off your tongue with as little problems as possible. So that means like getting used to saying, and that's why I would say this, or and that's why I would say blah blah blah. If you can get yourself into that habit of saying, and that's why I would do it. What's another phrase you could use there? Therefore, I would agree with the second option or something. I mean, that second option is not probably the best phrase there. You would probably want to replace that with saying, that's why I agree with the prompt, or that's why I disagree. And those are the reasons why I disagree. That's a phrase that you could use that would be kind of standard for anything. And those are the reasons why I agree with the prompt, or not the prompt, but those are the reasons why I agree with that option. So, try to replace the word option, or try to replace it with like whatever the prompt would suggest. Like for this one, many universities offer academic courses online, others in a traditional classroom. So those are the reasons why I would support courses over the internet, or just phrase that, rephrase that, and say those are the reasons why I would support online courses. So you can just shorten it to like 2 words, and that little phrase there, you can kind of practice it, review it until it gets easy to say, and then you don't necessarily get cut off. But in terms of the points, it's not necessarily going to be the end of the world if you get cut off. Okay, so let's move on to another example of this type 2 kind of question. So this one, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Why or why not? Use details and examples to explain your answer. So it is more important to study math or science than it is to study art or literature. Okay. Okay, so where's the time here? Okay. So I disagree I think that art and literature make you sensitive, make you open-minded, and make you appreciate life. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to go 45 seconds here now. So, personally, I would disagree with this statement because I think that though it can be important to study math and science, personally, I would say that studying an art and literature is equally as important as math and science because they help people become a little bit more open-minded and sensitive to the beauty of life, and it will help them appreciate things that are surrounded by them. I think math and science makes people very objective, and art really helps people expand and broaden their horizons. Okay, so I got a little stuck there at the end in terms of trying to find a closing statement, but I think I was able to get it there in the last few seconds to support my answer of why, in this case, saying that studying math and science is more important. I think my opinion was more that they were equally as important, or math or science or art and literature is perhaps even more. But I think I just wanted to make the point that they're equally important and some of the reasons why there. Okay, so still don't see any links, so that's okay. But okay, so let's keep going here. So one of the techniques that I was using in this question, or with this response, is to mention that people could think that it's more important to study math and science, and then I start giving my opinion why I would prefer the art and literature, and saying that that is equally as important there. Okay, so okay, so yeah, that's a technique where you recognize that there is the other side, and then you start supporting your opinion. Okay, let's move on here. Okay, some people have one career throughout their lives. Space here. Some people have one career throughout their lives. Other people do different kinds of work at different points in their lives. Which do you think is better? Explain why. Okay, I'll give myself another 15 seconds here. And okay, I would say different because life is fast-paced. Learn different skills and combine. Okay. So now I have 45 seconds here. In the past, I think people have been dependent on building one career at one company throughout their working life until they retire. However, because modern life is very fast-paced, I think that it's better that people learn different skills at different jobs and then learn how to combine those skills at another job that they might use for a few years. I think things are so dynamic that people cannot be dependent on one company for the rest of their life. So I think it's very important that people are able to adapt to those changes in their career. Okay, so there I did have to improvise a little bit on connecting my thoughts and developing my answer, but I think I was able to build up an answer that made sense in terms of why it's important to learn different kinds of work, different kinds of skills, different points in their life, and talk about those different points as part of their career. So I think the word career was a key word in here, and also not being dependent on one company. They didn't mention that here, but I think that's a little bit implicit, that in the past, for example, my parents or other people's parents, I could see them work at one company for like 20, 30 years and like only stay at that company. But I would say because of the fast-paced life with the internet and just the speed of change, people need to learn different skills and adapt to changes. So I had a lot of those phrases that I put into this answer. So I think that would be a good answer to develop this one. Okay. So, okay, let's keep going here. Okay, when people visit a city or country for the first time, they prefer to explore new places on their own. Sorry, I skipped that. When some people visit a city or country for the first time, they prefer to take an organized tour. Other people prefer to explore new places on their own. Which do you prefer and why? Okay, I think I've answered this one before in the past. I'm going to switch sides. Okay, give myself 15 seconds here, and I will go through this one. Okay, so I'll say organized. So know where to go, what to see, and how much time. So that's 15 seconds. And I will now give myself 45 seconds. So look at the prompt slightly again. So prefer an organized tour or explore new places on their own. Okay, go. Though traveling to a new city or country on your own and exploring those new places might give you a lot of freedom. I think if it's a new place that you've never been to before, I think personally, I would prefer to take an organized tour because I don't necessarily know where to go or what to see. And I think a tour guide would be more specialized and able to make an itinerary, choose those places which would be appropriate to get an initial idea of what there is to see and do in that city. And they would also have a good idea of how much time it would take to visit those places. So that is, those are a few reasons why I would prefer to use an organized tour. Okay, so yeah, I talked about this, like where to go, what to see, a tour guide, an itinerary, the time, getting an initial idea what there is to see and do in a city. So I try to use a lot of these terms and phrases that could come up with tourism that would be related to this topic. So those are a few ways that I would develop this answer. Okay, so, and okay, next on here, and I think this is our last question for today. And unfortunately, I still don't yet see links, so that's unfortunate. But okay, so this next one: some people enjoy watching movies or television in their spare time. Others prefer reading books or magazines. State which you prefer, why. Okay, last. Okay, give myself 15 seconds. Start. So I'm going to say books. They kind of don't take time. They can like be read anywhere, anytime. Okay, so I'll give myself 45 seconds here. Let's say, I know my friends and family members prefer watching movies and television in their spare time. However, I much prefer reading books and magazines because they don't take as much time as a movie or as a TV show where I need to set aside about 2 hours or a half hour. Also, I need to have a device like a tablet or a phone or a TV. So I need connection to the internet, and whereas a book, I don't need to plug it in. It doesn't need batteries. I can read it anywhere I want as long as I have some light. And I can use my imagination when I'm reading the book, and I can read this anywhere I want. I'm not dependent on in being one place with the computer. Okay, so yeah, that might not have been my best answer, but I did try to provide lots of details and support for that question. Okay, so this has been about an hour of time, and I appreciate you guys joining me and going through these questions. And hopefully, if you haven't necessarily been able to make recordings, at least I hope you've been able to brainstorm and think of your answers. What would you say for these questions? And you can still contact me. I will provide here on Facebook. You can find me at Huggins International, and on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me at jhugsint, and my website is the same as on Facebook, hugginsinternational.com. And feel free to send me a message, and I will be happy to kind of give you some feedback on your speaking. And as Estella had mentioned earlier in her comments, there is a 30-day speaking 30-day speaking challenge that I have been organizing since the end of March. And as it implies, 30 days, we do that throughout a month. So we're now on day 23 of June, and the next challenge will be starting on July 1st, and it'll be going for 30 days. And each day I send out an email and a prompt so people can practice speaking in their target language. So not necessarily English. There are lots of people studying different languages and practicing and just recording themselves, again, with the SpeakPipe voice recorder, doing that for a few minutes on a topic. And it's also good practice if you are preparing for your TOEFL to just get used to speaking about a variety of topics. So you can search for 30-day speaking challenge and find me on my website, Huggins International. Please also feel free to subscribe and sign up for alerts on YouTube so you can find out when I do more videos. And please feel free to leave other questions, and I'll be happy to make more videos, especially for TOEFL prep, and I'll let you know when those happen. So best of luck for your preparations. I'm going to stop sharing here. So best of luck for your TOEFL preparations. Thank you, all of you who've been watching this video live. If you are watching the replay, you can still leave a comment below this video with the SpeakPipe voice recorder if you want to go through those 10 questions that we looked at here today. I will be happy to listen to your recordings and give you that feedback. And with this video, we can kind of create a little bit of a community of people who are posting their links to their audio recordings, and you can listen and provide some feedback to other people and get a feel for what they're able to provide in 45 seconds for these questions. So practice these questions as many times as you can until you get more and more comfortable with them. If you had taken one side for like a type 2 question, practice doing the other side. Just get more and more familiar with developing your brainstorming techniques, going through this, and going through the questions. So thank you very much for your time, and see you guys soon.